Breaking this hour, House Judiciary Chair Jerry Nadler now saying he's looking at May 15th for Robert Mueller to testify before his committee, but that nothing is firm yet. In the meantime, Bill Barr is now refusing to testify before Nadler's committee tomorrow after telling the Senate today the Mueller report is his baby, not Mueller's.
Bob Mueller is the equivalent of a U.S. attorney. His work concluded when he sent his report to the Attorney General. At that point, it was my baby.
It is now Bill versus Barr. It's extraordinary. Former colleagues. Barr's first tenure as Attorney General in the 90s overlapped with Mueller's tenure as Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division. Now Barr could be playing with fire, appearing to break with Mueller, a man who earned a Purple Heart in Vietnam and who says Barr's 4-page letter caused public confusion. Today, Barr took every opportunity to throw shade at Robert Mueller.
A career prosecutor rebuking the Attorney General of the United States, memorializing in writing, right? I know of no other instance of that happening. Do you?
I don't consider Bob at this stage a career prosecutor. The letter's a bit snitty, and I think it was probably written by one of his staff people.
He doesn't consider him a career prosecutor. I wonder if he considers him a great American. Back with me, Joyce Vance, former U.S. Attorney of Alabama, and Christian Farias, an editorial board member for the New York Times. Joyce, Jerry Nadler now saying they're in talks for May 15th. That sounds great, but do you buy it? Jerry Nadler is the same guy with a subpoena and a deadline that the White House blows their nose with.
It'll be a little bit of a dance, and at least for now, Mueller appears to be a federal employee. So DOJ, despite Bill Barr's assurances that he'll let Mueller testify, could decide to pull the plug on that. Once Mueller's a private citizen, he has a little bit more latitude, but I think it would be a mistake to think that we will hear a lot more than what's in the report from Mueller. He'll still be prohibited from disclosing, for instance, grand jury or classified information. And so I think we'll hear a lot about Mueller saying, well, you know, that's presented in the report. I wouldn't expect to see a lot more.
But if Mueller really wanted to testify, couldn't he terminate his employment with the Department of Justice and show up? I mean, you've got Bob Mueller. You've got Bill Barr at this point calling the letter snitty, taking jabs. If you're Bob Mueller, don't you want to show up?
Bob Mueller is an institutionalist. I don't think he'll bend the rules just to get his way. But one thing is clear, that letter that he sent in March, just days after Barr mischaracterized his findings, was a damning letter. You don't do that, as Joyce has said. You don't go to paper on things like this. You don't question the chief legal officer of the United States. And that's precisely what Bob Mueller did. And the letter speaks for itself. He said, hey, look, what I sent you, the summaries at least should be released at this time. And yet what did Bill Barr do? He took 3 more weeks to just hang on to those summaries, hang on to the rest of the report. And in the meantime, the public was confused. Congress didn't have the information. And Mueller and his team, we saw a leak perhaps, or we saw a report saying, hey, look, we're not happy with the way Bill Barr has been spinning this. Let's set the record straight. And that letter pretty much laid it out all on the table.
Joyce, in April, a former FBI chief told The Atlantic the dynamic between Mueller and Barr is one of a Boy Scout, Mueller, versus a street fighter, Barr. Would you compare the two?
You know, it's hard to know if that's absolutely accurate, but I think to the point that's being made, this is such an unusual relationship. Inside of the Justice Department, everybody's on the same team, right? Boy Scouts and street fighters, it takes all kinds. To have one of those people, though, go and put down on paper, essentially to make book on the Attorney General of the United States because you have concerns about the action he's taking, that I think speaks to a breakdown and a mismatch between the two of them.
Well, Barr said today, if Mueller knew he was not going to make a call on obstruction, he should have stopped the investigation. Are more people thinking that?
I think Bill Barr is the only one who's thinking that. And the reason is
maybe Rudy Giuliani and the president.
That's right. And one thing that Mueller made clear also in his report is that he rejects wholesale Bill Barr's theory of obstruction, which is very limited. It is very hungry and deferential to the president and his power to control and shut down investigations. Mueller doesn't buy that. He believes that if you have a corrupt intent in leading the nation, you should be subject to the rules. No man is above the law, he said it. And as a result, because there's that constitutional clash between Barr and Mueller, I think that perhaps Barr is a bit hurt that this underling, as he suggested earlier, is going against his constitutional thinking. These dinosaurs of DOJ don't like to be contradicted on these things, and that's precisely what Mueller did, and I don't think Barr is too happy with that.
Amazing. Lindsey Graham said he sees no need to call Mueller. Assuming he doesn't, what other avenues can be taken to get him to testify?
Well, certainly the House can call him to testify, and that's where perhaps it's more likely that we'll hear him. But look, Bill Barr brings some issues to the table today and talks about his view of phone calls that he had with Mueller. I think increasingly people will want to hear from Mueller, and we may well see him in the Senate, too, before this is over.
He calls the report his baby. A 400-page report that covers the 2016 campaign and foreign interference. Doesn't seem like anyone's baby.